Hey everyone, we're back with part 3 of our summer sales coverage for the Nintendo Switch. I hope you all have been enjoying your weekend, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of it once more. As always, I'm really excited to share the deals with you all, and for those of you that are finding the channel for the first time, welcome, and be sure to check out part 1 and part 2 for even more deals. I'll have them linked down below in the pinned comment so you can easily find them. As for the crew, you all rock, and thanks as always for hanging out. Alright everybody, let's go ahead and dive in. Stay safe, smash that like button, and please enjoy the video. Alright, we'll start off with Monster Sanctuary, which is a retro RPG from Team 17. It has a download around 650 megabytes and should offer more than 30 hours of gameplay, plus you can even battle friends in 1v1 style combat as well. It's a unique combination of 2D platforming, RPG mechanics, and monster catching, and while similar to other games in the genre, there's enough here to separate it and make it worth checking out. Now, as I mentioned, it does have PvP where you can battle other players online with the monsters that you capture. It's a cool addition and adds a bunch of replay value as well. The graphics are great, it runs well on the Switch, and right now you can pick it up for just $5.99, marked down 70% to a new low, and the deal ends on the 24th. Next we have Shiren the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate. This is a single-player top-down RPG. It's basically a dungeon crawler, and it's a port of a game that originally released back in 2010, but the franchise itself has been around for decades. Now the game is incredibly difficult, and it has permadeath where you can lose everything if you die without having the right items in your inventory, plus the dungeons you'll explore are ever-changing, so you never quite know what they're going to throw at you next. The combat is turn-based and requires strategy to go along with the item management. Now luckily though, there are in-depth tutorials and even combat tutorials that you can take advantage of, and they'll help you get used to the mechanics, which you'll need for the more than 50-hour campaign. Right now it's on sale for just $7.99, marked down 60% to a brand new low, and the deal ends on the 25th, and again you'll need a little over half a gig for the download. Card Shark is a single-player adventure title where we play as a young man that travels as part of a ragtag group of schemers that like to hustle people in different card games. You'll have to learn the best way to cheat and give yourself the advantage for each different scenario, and each move is timed, which does add in a bit of tension into the mix. For example, you may have to learn to flick cards in order to then set up your opponent and accuse them of cheating by flicking a card onto their seat as they stand up. It's actually a pretty interesting game, but I wouldn't recommend it for a story alone. It never really comes together in the end, but it is fun though, and right now you can pick it up for just $9.99, marked down half price to a new low, and the deal ends on the 25th. You'll need about 1.3 gigs for the install. Chicory, A Colorful Tale is a top-down adventure game where we play as a protagonist trapped within a role that they never really wanted, and thus it causes a bit of internal struggle within them, and it's kind of cool. It adds a bit of depth that you don't typically see in a game of this size. The world around you has lost all color, and so you'll have to take over as the wielder of the brush and bring color back while searching for Chicory, who has gone missing. The game gives you plenty of cool puzzles and different quests that you can complete, and as you work through the roughly 10-hour story, you can even play with a friend in local co-op. On top of that, it has an all-original soundtrack that I really enjoyed as well, and right now you can pick up Chicory for just $9.99, marked down half price to a brand new low, and the deal ends again on the 25th. You will need just under 2 gigs for the download though. Hot Wheels Unleashed is an arcade-style racer here on the console. It offers both local and online multiplayer, with online giving you lobbies of up to 12 players at one time. The lineup of cars is pretty crazy as you're given 60 to start with, and they're all modeled to resemble the original toys or other franchises. The game gives you an overworld map in the main city rumble mode, and you just work from point to point competing in different types of races or other events. Now sadly, the game does have a Battle Pass-like DLC system where rewards are hidden behind paywalls, but you can enjoy the entirety of the game without ever spending any extra money as well. You just won't be able to access the bonus areas or take advantage of the items. The biggest draw for most will be the track builder, which will allow you to kind of go wild with your imagination, though they tend to break a lot, and the racing itself is a ton of fun and does maintain a pretty stable frame rate throughout, with some minor hiccups if things on screen get a bit too hectic. Right now you can pick it up for just $9.99, marked down 80% until the 25th, but you'll need about 8 gigs for the download. Black Book is a single-player RPG that follows a young woman as she tries to escape her future, only to find herself relying on the very things that she wanted to avoid in order to save a loved one after his death. It's a dark story with mature themes and can get pretty heavy, so keep that in mind. The graphics are minimalistic, but they did a great job with atmosphere and audio, and players are given plenty of choice on how you choose to play through the story, which can alter a bit for each playthrough, and these choices will affect your own morality as well. Now, the combat is handled as a turn-based deck builder, and it can be kinda challenging at times, but on the easy setting you can skip combat altogether and just play through the story without worry. It's definitely a unique game, and you could easily spend more than 20 hours before finishing up, making it a great value this week while on sale at a brand new low of just $11.24, marked down 55% until the 25th, and you'll need about 2.5 gigs for the download. Up next, we have Monster Train First Class, which is a wildly addictive roguelike deck builder that was ported here to the Switch back in 2021. It has a download around 1.2 gigs and gives you dozens of hours of gameplay. Now in this one, we find ourselves in control of a train heading through hell, trying to reignite the Sacred Spire with the last remaining shard, which just happens to be on board. The combat is played out in a somewhat tower defense style with turn-based battles. The cards in your deck represent different monsters that you can then summon into fight, and the only goal is to reach the end of the line. Now that is easier said than done, as this is an incredibly difficult game. In addition to the base game, the DLC is packed in for free, which is always amazing, and right now you can pick it up for just $11.99, marked down 60% to a brand new low, and the deal ends again on the 25th. Next we have Citizen Sleeper, which is a single-player tabletop-style RPG with a roughly 1.5 gig download, and it should offer roughly 10 hours of gameplay on average. What I really like about this one is that with each game day, something new is brought to the player, and the RPG mechanics are surprisingly deep. You have multiple character builds at the start, and then you expand from there. The graphics are beautiful on the Switch, plus there are multiple endings depending on your choices, which of course adds in a good amount of replay value as well. If you enjoy a good narrative-driven game, make sure to check this one out. I think it's a bit of a hidden gem, and right now it's on sale for just $11.99, marked down 40% until the 25th. Again, you'll need about 1.5 gigs for the install. The Serious Sam collection contains the first 3 mainline games from the franchise, spanning from the early 2000s all the way through to the early 2010s. It also includes all of the DLC tied to each game as well. Now, fans of classic Doom and Duke Nukem games will feel right at home here. The guns are outrageous and the gore is through the roof, and of course it has the genre standard one-liners as well. Now, as you would expect, these games definitely have a dated retro feel to them, and whether or not that's a positive will come down to personal preference. The same goes for the difficulty as well. The waves of enemies can be a bit overwhelming as you get deeper into the game. Now, the collection offers plenty of gameplay to keep you occupied, and the download is just over 4 gigs. Right now you can pick up the collection for just $11.99, marked down 60% to a new low, and the deal ends again on the 25th. Up next, we have Team Sonic Racing, which of course is a Sonic-themed arcade racer with light story elements and team-based competition. It offers local multiplayer for up to 8 players, and online expands that to up to 12. It has a download around 7 gigs and gives you unlimited hours of gameplay. The levels are varied enough to keep things interesting, and the sense of speed is outstanding. Plus, with the team-based nature of the game, you can always pull some cool maneuvers and drifts off with your teammates for incredible speed boost. On top of that, the controls are tight, and overall the game runs very smooth here on the Switch. While it's not Mario Kart maybe, it's definitely enough for fans to enjoy and tries its best to stand out. Right now you can pick it up for just $11.99, marked down 60% to a new low, and the deal ends again on the 25th. Alright everyone, here are a few other deals to check out while you're already on the eShop. Alright folks, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and let me know down below if you plan to pick anything up this weekend. Take care everyone, thanks for watching.